So one rule that I'll try and drill into here is that the other person on the other end of the phone is a real individual that you're speaking to. No matter who they are, no matter if you've been transferred by mistake to some random person in the organisation, they should be the most important person in your mind at that moment. Don't discount, for example, a personal assistant. Don't try and ignore someone on the switchboard. They are real people, and they can usually they're very neutral in the interactions that we're going to have with them. They just pass us through or they don't pass us through, but they can be an incredible pain in the ass if you are arsy with them. They can make your life incredibly difficult to get through to the people that matter. With all that said, so the moment has come in which you're reaching for the phone after you've done your preparation. The first thing you should do after making the dial and getting the person saying hello is to introduce yourself with your name, your company's name. And remember that you're calling, so you're interrupting whoever is picking up the phone. And perhaps they've got all manner of things in their head at that moment. They've got 15 spreadsheets open, they've just been told to do X, Y, Z, and the concern about the cat at home has just popped up on their phone on the video walkie-talkie or whatever it is, that the cat's kind of eating something that it shouldn't be eating. They've got a lot on their mind at that moment, so they're trying to track it all and keep it all essentially in their short-term memory, and you are sidetracking. When you make this call, when they pick it up, you're sidetracking them from what perhaps they're paid to do and everything else on top of it. Therefore, you've got to give your potential partner a chance to react to you and settle into a little bit of conversation. You can't just throw out a sales pitch because they're not going to be able to process it. It's as simple as that. So I recommend the following structure and introduction when you're calling people on the phone. Just say, hello, your customer name. It's Will Barron from company name, how is it going? So again, for me, hello X, it's Will Barron from the sales school, how is it going? Pretty simple, right? At this point, we're going to give a long, deliberate, long pause so that our potential partner can respond to our greeting. This way, there has at least been an exchange in conversation within the first few seconds, and it's not just you uninvitingly rambling on about your product or service, which is what most salespeople do. This lays the foundation for the subsequent conversation, and hopefully they grant you their undivided attention moving forward. Try to avoid filler words like or at this stage, very specific at this stage. It doesn't really matter further on down the process, it's not as important there. And make sure you use their name straight away. It shows them respect and it stops you from jumping into saying, how are you today, before you've even introduced yourself. Now let's get specific about the people that we might meet. So if you hit the switchboard before you reach the real gatekeeper, there are two basic scenarios you're going to face. You know the person you're trying to get in touch with, or you don't know the person. If you don't know the person you're trying to call upon, you've screwed up. 20 years ago, it might have been appropriate to ring up a switchboard and say, or ask, can I be put through to the person who deals with X? Can I speak with a procurement officer who deals with HR equipment, software, whatever it is? But now with LinkedIn and social media, all of the contact information you could ever need is available for free and in an instant. It's totally inappropriate to be asking these kind of questions to switchboard, to anyone really. So if you hit a switchboard, give your introduction, which we just covered, pause and wait for a response. They're probably going to say, how can I help you? Who can I put you through to? And you're just going to say, can you please put me through to Mrs. X? Thank you. And it's not a question, it's a statement. Don't overcomplicate this process. Don't give the person on the switchboard any ammunition to hold you back, a reason to doubt why you're calling. Be assertive, polite, friendly, and 9 times out of 10, they're just going to pass you through without questioning anything. So think of it like this. The switchboard knows that you're on an external number. They can see that popping up on their screens. But if you've worked for a large organisation and you rang your own switchboard to be asked to put through to someone, which I used to do all the time, I was literally on first name terms with the women who would be on switchboard at the last organisation I'd call. I'd even ask how their day's going and have a quick chat with them. But with all that said, they want to know without a shadow of a doubt that the person who's calling and they're putting through should be put through. So you've got to be a member of the team. So you've got to act like you're a member of their team. You've got to act like it's your right. It's no big deal for you to be put through. That means being assertive, and check out the assertiveness workshop here in the sales school if you haven't already. And it means not asking questions that go up at the end of the sentence. It means being flat and then even perhaps going down. So you ask, can you put me through to XYZ, please? As opposed to going, can you put me through to XYZ, please? See the difference of the inclination, one's up, one's down, when we're making a statement or a statement question. Again, we cover this in the questions workshop in more details in the sales school. But yeah, we want to go down at this point because this individual is just going, yeah, sure, blop, blop. Yeah, sure, blop, blop. That's all they're doing all day. They're in this routine. So don't give them ammunition to screw you over by essentially just being weak in this moment. And the final thing on switchboards is they can be very tetchy about giving you direct contact information. For example, you want an extension number to go through to a particular phone rather than them putting you through each time through their system. Obviously, it takes a little bit of time and energy for that to happen. Therefore, we're going to give them an option to provide us with an appropriate way to contact our potential partner rather than asking for something which they're very unlikely to give us. So if you know you're going to be calling on a particular partner often, then switchboard is just an extra step and hassle you're trying to avoid. Ask the person at switchboard, just as they're about to connect you, in case they are not in, how can I reach them directly? Or in case we get cut off, how can I get back in touch with them directly? Now, again, just be assertive, just be straightforward with this. It's not an unreasonable thing to ask. Don't lie and say that you've got terrible signal and so you're concerned about being cut off or any bullshit like that. They've heard all of this before. Just be direct and assertive without all the nonsense. People will be far more likely to give you a straight answer back. Remember, what you push out on the phone, people give you back in kind. Next up is the personal assistant. So if you're calling higher up the corporate food chain, it's likely that switchboard will put you through to a personal assistant rather than the potential partner directly. This is fine, and if you get on the right side of them, they can be actually a real good ally helping you hunt for new business. So general rule for dealing with personal assistants or people who are not the end partner that you're trying to get in front of is to always finish answering one of their questions with a follow-up question. This eliminates any weird pauses or silence that the assistant is trying to engineer from their side. They're trained in doing this. It keeps the conversation flowing and eventually allows them an easier yes when it is the right moment for them to say that. So, therefore, when someone asks you, what is this regarding? All they're trying to do, remember this, all they're trying to do is shield their boss from random salespeople, spammers, whatever it is, from calling them up and wasting their time. So to do this, there are two things that personal assistants are trying to ascertain. They're trying to understand who is calling. So it makes sense that the potential partner is someone managing their incoming calls because perhaps they're just too busy to do it themselves. This first step is for the assistant to find out who exactly is calling, perhaps what the call is regarding, and the intent of the call, which is an important one. So the other thing they're trying to do is evaluate the value of the call. So the real skill for them is to filter and separate the important from the unimportant. Everything else can be done by a computer, right? This takes a little bit of human intelligence. So once they understand the facts, they're going to start to make an evaluation about you. So our response to the what is this regarding question must give the facts that they need for part one, and then must give another layer which shows that we are an important call that shouldn't be filtered out. Again, like most of the time in B2B sales, just being naturally confident and assertive will aid massively in getting connected. So for example, it'd be saying, "Hi, good morning, Mr. PA, this is Will Barron with the sales school. How are you doing?" PA will say, "I'm well," and then they'll pause and they're waiting for you to put your foot in your mouth. I'll say, "Is Mr. X in the office already?" The PA will say, "Yes, he's in." Again, they're waiting for you to put your foot in your mouth and say something stupid. So I'll say, "Please pass me on to him and tell him it's Will Barron from the sales school. Thank you." This will get you through. I do this all the time, going through assistants to surgeons and people like that within the NHS when I was in medical device sales. This will get you through most gatekeepers most of the time because you're being direct, and so they're going to assume that you've got something important to say. If you're confident in the value that you're going to share with the potential partner at the end of the day, or perhaps there's some familiarity already there with you and the potential buyer, then this gets even more real, and it's subcommunicated over the phone. You don't need any weird techniques and hacks and tricks and using NLP. You really don't need any of it. All of it gets subcommunicated if you're confident in your message and you are assertive as you speak on the phone. So it's crucial that you're not lying and you're not trying to manipulate anyone here. You're just trying to simply be confident in the words that you're saying. Now, if the PA does say no and pushes back, then what you're going to say is, "Please pass me on to him and tell him it's Will Barron from the sales school. Thank you." They turn around and say, "I cannot pass you on. Mr. X is busy." So you're going to say, "I thought so. When do you think Mr. X will have 2 minutes to discuss XYZ," or whatever the topic of our call is about. This then puts pressure on the gatekeeper to start to arrange a time for us to call back, because you have been polite, you've been assertive, you've been a matter of fact with your questioning, and so they're going to want to help you out. But what happens if they turn around and they push all this back on us and they say, again, "What is this regarding?" Most salespeople at this point start to rabbit on, they start to babble and regurgitate random marketing messages and the importance of the call. We're not going to do that. We're going to commit to our role as a trusted, legendary advisor here and double down on the fact that the potential partner would be crazy not to speak with us. We're going to do the opposite of what everyone else does, and we're going to share a very quick statement. So for example, the PA says, what is this regarding? We're going to say, it's about his sales team, and in particular, their performance of the last quarter. I've got a quick strategic insight to share with him when you put me through. Thanks. So very literally, you want to use words like strategic, collaboration, political, decision, because these are signal words which work wonders higher up the food chain. And this is language that very likely your potential partners are going to be using day in, day out, and very likely on the flip side, your personal assistant is perhaps not all that familiar with. This is going to elevate you to being on the same level as the potential partner, rather than, again, some pesky salesperson just trying their luck with a random phone call. And if you're still stuck at this point and you're getting pushback, just double check after the call whether it be through a transcript or for your own notes that you're actually using this process faithfully. Honestly, this should smash through any resistance from 95% of gatekeepers, almost all the time. On the next call, see if you can reduce the amount of words that you're saying. See if you can narrow down your messaging to be more simple and effective. It's very unlikely that you should be getting constant rejection at this stage. And don't confuse outright rejection with the potential partner legitimately being indisposed of or not in the office at that particular moment you called. Not every time a PA says, we can't put you through right now. Some of the time when a PA says, I cannot put you through right now, they literally mean, I cannot put you through right now. This is when you're going to suggest that you've got a strategic statement, follow-up, content to share with the individual, with the potential partner, and that's when you get your date booked in the next few days. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to click subscribe, leave a comment below what you thought about the video and the content itself, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.